root therapy is considered successful if it looks good on the X-ray, the bone at the end of the root appears to be healing on the X-ray, the tooth has stopped hurting. All of these signs of success are restricted to the environment of the tooth. Systemic effects are never considered. Not many patients go to a dentist to find a cure for the breast lump or arthritic knees. The reality is that lack of pain is not a sign that there is nothing wrong. It is merely a sign that there is no local inflammation around the end of the root. Other areas of the body may become affected without local pain in the tooth.
In fact, lack of pain may constitute both what is probably one of the greatest paradoxes and one of the costliest diagnostic mistakes through injury to health that exists in dental and medical practice.
When a root therapy fails, which is very common, a surgical approach to fix the problem may be offered. It's called an apicectomy. The end of the root is cut off and the abscess curetted out in an attempt at cleaning away the source of the problem. The real seat of infection, the tooth, is ignored. Toxins escape from the whole surface of the tooth, not just the end of the root. A filling is usually placed in the end of the root. The most common material used for this filling is mercury amalgam, an implant of mercury directly into the brain. None of these fillings seal the tooth. Even the Australian Dental Association agrees that this is a useless procedure.
Amalgam does not satisfy the conditions required of a root canal filling, and its use must now be questioned, although no studies have demonstrated which material would be ideal. When endodontic treatment has been completed, a filling or crown will be necessary. This will restore your tooth to its original shape and function.
These crowns or caps are usually made of a gold alloy with porcelain over it so that it looks like a real tooth. Most universities still teach that mercury amalgam is the best material to use as the initial filling, which will become the core for the crown to sit on. This practice flies in the face of warnings from the amalgam manufacturers. In 1997, Cork Company, the manufacturer of dispersalloy, stated that their material should not be used as a filling under cast crowns. The reason is simple. Combining amalgam and gold will cause a dramatic increase in the release of mercury from the amalgam. This constitutes a serious and avoidable health hazard. Save that tooth at any cost. That's the refrain of the dental profession. The only cost we are told of is the fee for doing the root therapy and the fee for rebuilding the tooth. A root canal therapy, about $1,000. Posts and pins, $400. Amalgam cores, about $300. And a new crown, about $1,700. The total cost, $3,400. The cost of disease is not included in this equation. The American Association of Endodontists homepage states that more than 16 million root canal procedures are performed every year in the United States. At a conservative average of $1,000 per treatment, this makes root canal therapy a $16 billion per year industry in the USA alone. Assuming that only 75% of these teeth are crowned at about $1,500 each, that's another $18 billion. If dentists paid only 30% of their earnings to tax, this would represent a $10.2 billion income for the government. The remarkable thing is that this treatment, which is so readily recommended by dentistry, has such an appalling failure rate.
And I had the root canal pulled out, root canal tooth, and 3 months later I had another blood test, and the blood test showed normal, and we were very shocked. But we thought, we're not going to get too excited yet, we'll wait for the scan. So I had another MRI scan. This was 3 months after having the tooth pulled, and I got the results back and they said there's no tumour there, it's a healthy pituitary gland. No other explanation to say that the tumour disappeared other than having my tooth pulled. My periods returned a few months later after having the scan done, and my blood tests are normal still. I went back up to my doctor and he was also shocked. He didn't ask me why what's happened, what's changed. He said, oh, that's strange. He didn't want to know, really. So that was a bit sad, I thought.
Finally, I agreed to have it out. Best thing I ever did. Not only did the pain stop, but all of my allergic reactions vanished, literally vanished overnight, and my health improved just 10, 20, 100-fold.
September 2003, I went along to my dentist and had a root canal treatment performed. Months later, in January 2004, I started to experience problems with my balance, tingling sensations and numbness in my hands and feet. Subsequently, I was referred to a neurologist, and after many tests, CTI scans, lumbar punch, etc., etc., I was told that the probable cause of my problems was multiple sclerosis. The amazing thing for me was that I had this root canal tooth pulled out in September 2004, and a week later, and literally a week later, my balance started to improve, and the sensations that I'd been experiencing for 9 months started to abate, the numbness, the tingling, and basically things have just improved from there, and we're now in December 2005.
Focal infection should be a major concern in dentistry. This paper has over 200 references. In 1997, a paper entitled Serious Complications of Endodontic Infections, Some Cautionary Tales was published in the Australian Dental Journal. It was written by Professor Laurie Walsh, who currently is the head of the dental faculty at the University of Queensland.
Professor Walsh states, while endodontic abscesses can cause significant morbidity, in susceptible individuals they can pose life-threatening problems.
He cites many diseases as having been caused by infections in teeth. A small taste of the literature shows that dead teeth can cause a wide range of diseases. Immune system diseases, infection of hip replacements, abscess of eyes, cervical cellulitis and mediastinitis, necrotizing fasciitis, coronary atherosclerosis, sinusitis, multiple sclerosis, brain abscess, brain cancer, central nervous system damage, trigeminal neuralgia, and literally hundreds of other studies showing the spread of disease from oral infections. The respected Dr. Joseph Issels wrote in his book Cancer: A Second Opinion,
My clinical experience has produced evidence of a causal connection between foci and tumour development. From this, it is clear that the advisable treatment for devitalised teeth is extraction. At Dr. Issels' clinic, on admission, 98% of the adult cancer patients had between 2 and 10 dead teeth.
Or can I put up with the 2 dark teeth and the headaches? Or do I take the quantum leap and thinking, okay, look, I'm going to lose 2 of my old friends, and it's going to be a fairly major change. And I'm thinking, well, no, it's got to be better than the situation was beforehand. And straight away it has been.
risk disease or have the tooth removed. Only you can make that decision. An important criticism to this approach is that by taking the tooth out, we're creating a biomechanical problem in the jaw and therefore the spine. It is of course important for a host of reasons to maintain what is called a well-balanced occlusion or bite. Question is then, which disease state would you prefer to risk? It's usually much simpler to fix a bite problem than a disease such as cancer.
We've had to have surgery and be on, they could have had to take out the whole gland, and I could have had to be on hormone replacement tablets for the rest of my life. I could have had to be on a drug called Dostinex, which had horrible side effects like depression and nausea every day for the rest of my life.
For most people, it is a relatively simple matter to replace missing teeth.
and a number of teeth removed. The abscesses have gone and all the amalgam's gone, and I feel like I've got a new lease on life and feel like a different person, and it's all fantastic.
There have been very few advances in root therapy in the last 300 years. At best, this practice is based in anecdotal evidence, not on science. The dangers of root therapy have been known for over 100 years. A root therapy tooth is a dead tooth. Dead, gangrenous material always remains in the tooth. It is not possible to sterilize a tooth. It is not possible to completely fill a tooth. All root therapy cements are cytotoxic. Some are carcinogenic. Some cause irreversible nerve damage. All toxins and all substances placed in a tooth are transported to the rest of the body. Amalgam implanted into the end of the root of a tooth is equivalent to implanting mercury directly into the brain. Teeth may affect the acupuncture meridians and thus affect the health of distant tissue. Dead teeth cause the largest number of diseases ever traced to a single source. Teeth are an integral and important part of the body.
Hey everyone, it's Alicia. Do you notice anything different about me today? Now do you? I am missing a tooth. I got my root canal extracted yesterday. It's been something I've wanted to do for 2 years, and I've just been searching around the world for the right dentist that I felt comfortable with. Most dentists, I was living in Thailand, and then I even went to San Francisco. Even if they were holistic, they were still putting in, some of them were still putting in root canals, or some of them said, oh, you're fine with it in. But intuitively, I could feel it affecting my health, and I wanted it out of my body. And so there's a new awareness that is now spreading, and I want to expose more of that. Expose the truth behind root canals. But it is leaving, I mean, Dr. Weston Price did studies on this, and you can look at Mark Cola has written articles on this, so pretty credible people. It's the only practice that leaves a dead part in your body. So it's basically a dead tooth, or partly dead, and then they clean it out as best as possible and fill it. Back in the day, I got mine 8 years ago, so mine was not done properly probably, and it was filled with junk and trapped bacteria, and I'm going to show it to you right now. Okay, you see? There's like metal. It's like junk metal. It's really gross. So, and then I think there was a screw, a post that they put the crown on, and that may be made out of mercury. It looks metally. So that has been affecting not only my gums, next to the tooth started to recede over the years and bleed, but I also feel like it was affecting the organs that this meridian is associated with. So I went to go see Palmer Distinctive Dentistry in South Carolina. I drove 2.5 hours from Atlanta to go see him because I went on the website and I was referred to him by another doctor and felt really comfortable with him, and he believes in extracting root canals, and that's what I was looking for, someone who believes in extracting root canals. But on top of that, he also uses, after he extracted it, he took blood from my arm and infused it with ozone and then injected that in the cavity, so it promoted healing and got rid of any bacteria. And then also injected me with a great homeopathic, which had a lot of vitamins and things in it as well that promoted healing. So I feel like I did experience fast healing. This was yesterday, and no problems, and I feel better. So this meridian was meridian number 13, and on their website they even have what organs it's associated with. So this one was the liver, large intestine, small intestine, gallbladder, and left lung, and many other things, joints, sense organs, spine, glands, the thyroid. So that's a lot of stuff that controls digestion and detoxification and all of that. So I feel better. I feel like my body started releasing after I got this out, and I feel, I don't know, there's something different. I feel definitely better. So get to the root of your problems.